Good day and greetings from the Great White North. My name is Prickly Poo and welcome to day 364 of a year of change and the end of week 52. We are done. We are pretty much done. We just have tomorrow. Tomorrow's our last day ever and our final weigh-in and everything else. It's weird. No, farting noises again. Sorry. I have nothing to do. I have nothing to say. I have nothing to prepare for. I have nothing, ahead in the next couple of weeks. I don't know what to do with myself. I will do sort of a bit of an update this week because a couple things happened that were interesting. First, I'll sort of revisit what I said yesterday. Going out with friends. Haven't seen them in a long time. Since, well, I was going to say last summer, but don't know when you're watching this. It's been anywhere between 5 and 9 months since I've seen them. So, just because there's a bunch of different people all in together. Which was kind of nice, but sitting around a table with friends that you haven't seen in a very long time, everyone is offering you everything under the sun. Do you want a drink? Do you want snacks? Do you want food? At least 5 gigantic bags of chips. Salty chips, not sweet stuff, salty stuff, which normally I would have choked a puppy to have, months ago or even days ago. But I did well. Didn't partake in anything. I ended up having to drive 4 people back home anyway at the end of the night. So, because I'm not drinking, because I didn't want to pile in any extra calories or anything. And normally it would be something that I would, but it's my last week. I want to end on a high note. I want to end with a bit of a loss in weight. So, but I did well. I had a good conversation with a couple of them as well, because they all just kind of went, "You've lost a lot of weight." Because I think the earliest person, or the person that I've seen the most recently, was still 4 or 5 months ago. So that was nice, though, and just sort of had a conversation, saying, well, what are you doing? What did you start doing? And then, of course, they start saying, well, I want to lose some weight, I want to do this. So it was a nice conversation all the way around. And then people started getting drunker, and then at that point, they don't give a shit. So, but I wanted to sort of finish off this week strong, and something happened this week with the treadmill that I had mentioned a couple of times, and that's really what I want to get to. So, on Monday, well, actually, for the past couple of weeks, as you know, I've been sort of whining because I haven't really been improving. I haven't, on my treadmill, I haven't been increasing the time, I haven't been increasing the incline or the speed or anything. I've just been doing the exact same thing. And although it's, I know that we should be exercising to a point where we get used to it and then we'll sort of feel when we can improve. But if I'm to be honest, I could have improved a couple of weeks ago. Would have made things a little bit better. So this week, where it's our last week, I really wanted to try something, so, at least make some improvement so I can start the process again. So Monday was the day I was going to think, or that I was going to think, that I was thinking, all right, I'm going to do some improvement. I'm going to see if I can do like 11 or 12 and just sort of go from there and gradually start increasing. But logic kicked in. This is why I like logic. Because, as I said before, running for 10 minutes, the only thing, my breathing doesn't increase. I've got a fair amount of control over that. As you're jogging, you sort of, you reach that point after 4 or 5 minutes, and then your breathing just stays the same throughout the rest of it. So you're not going to get more out of breath as you go. The only thing that really concerns me is, my feet. Just because it's, there's a lot of impact on it and they get sore and everything else, because I'm still carrying a tremendous amount of weight around. I caught that. Yep, I fucked that one up. Anyway, so I thought, okay, well, I still want to do an improvement, but I want to see, why wouldn't I be able to do more than instead of just saying, well, I'm just going to add 1 minute? Because aside from my feet or my legs or however you want to look at it, that's really the only thing that's going to change, and I can probably fix that by getting a proper pair of running shoes, because I don't. I have a really shitty pair because the first ones I bought, which are really expensive, wore out, just completely. Mainly just on the inside, so it's just all the bare plastic and stuff. So, thanks, expensive shoes. And then I bought a pair of really shitty shoes because I'm not going to spend another fortune on shoes if they're just going to get worn out. I'd rather just, they're going to wear out in a few months anyway. Get a cheap pair. So they don't have all the same cushioning and stuff that normally goes along with shoes. So my feet do tend to hurt. But if I actually was to purchase a good pair, which I'm not ready to do at this point because I'm not at the point where I'm going to be a runner, then it probably would mitigate or get rid of that. So that's really the only thing that I have to be concerned with, and it's not a matter of doing damage or being in pain or anything. It's just after a while you're like, my feet are sore. It gets whiny, shitty stuff like that. So on Monday, I knew that I wanted to get to the 10-minute mark at least, because that's what I've been trying to do. I want to at least maintain that and then start going further. And I thought, you know what, screw it. I'm going to try for another 5 minutes after that, because I just wanted to see if I could do it. Because generally it's, okay, I just need 1 minute left, and then after that minute's done, then I go walking again, and then I run again, and okay, just one more minute. And I wanted at least once to be able to say, okay, how far can I go? I didn't quite say how far could I go, but anyway, I made it to the 15-minute mark, which completely screwed up my clock. But I was able to do 15 minutes, and then I walked for 10 or 15, somewhere around there, and then I did another 15 minutes of jogging straight. And at that point, that's when it dawned on me that, you know what, I really should have improved this a few weeks ago. So all day, well, for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I've been doing 15 minutes of walking, 15 minutes of running, jogging, 15 minutes of walking, 15 minutes of jogging. So in 1 week, I've jumped up by 5 minutes, and chances are I could go another 5. And it's strange because getting to a point when I would start jogging for 1 minute was incredibly bad. It was really tough. I was out of breath. I was huffing and puffing all over the place. But going from 10 to 15, as I suspected, is the same as me going from 10 to 11. My breathing isn't any more labored. I'm still probably sweating, but just that little bit extra, aside from my legs, which will eventually get used to it, there's no danger, there's no other things that I'm trying to think of. So I think that's where I am right now, is, I just thought, you know what, this will sort of make up for those few weeks that I wasn't actually improving as I should have. So I felt a little bit better. Now, of course, the side effect of this is that, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I still just did my regular walk. Didn't do any jogging or anything. Still haven't done my treadmill yet today, but I plan on doing it just for a regular walk, perhaps. But one of the side effects from this is that extra little 5 minutes, I've seen a difference. And I took a sneak peek yesterday morning before work. And I'm just so close. Still not enough. I honestly think that I'm going to be like within 1 or 2 pounds of 100 pounds by tomorrow when I do my weigh-in. So I know it's going to be annoying, but I got to put that out of my head, because it's really tempting to go, you know what, I could probably do this and just not eat, and then go do this and go do that, and trying to make it. But it was nice to be able to see that even just with that little bit of extra, that I wasn't any more tired than I normally was. After I do my treadmill, I felt the same afterwards. It was just that nice little sense of accomplishment that we get when we do something and go, okay, you know what, I can push myself. And it wasn't just, okay, I need to just keep going and push myself to the point of exhaustion. Really, like, after 2 minutes, like, I jog and then I start walking. After a couple of minutes of walking, I'm right back to regular breathing. And it felt exactly the same as it did when I was doing 10 minutes. So I don't know if I'm going to go up by 5 minutes every week, but I think at this stage, I know I can do 15. And, so going up by 16 or 17, or, try to do it that way so that I can sort of increase the speed at which I'm improving. That's, I think, what I'm going to be doing for the next few months anyway. Getting up to that point until I can actually, because right now I can jog for 15 minutes straight. So I do that twice, that's 4.5 kilometers. That's almost a 5K right there. I just need to match the two of them together, get them in there. So it's just a matter of even cutting back the amount of time I walk in between the two of them. So, I don't know, more little tweaks here and there. But I just thought it was something that I thought, you know what, even if I don't hit the 100-pound mark, which I don't think I'm going to, that is a nice accomplishment to end out our year, I think. Well, for me anyway, for this week, being able to say, you know what, I increased the amount I'm jogging by 50% in 1 week. So, but it was really surprising to find that I could do that, and it wasn't as difficult as I thought it was going to be. I figured that mean, we know that if we push ourselves really hard, we can accomplish a lot. Whatever exercise you're doing now, you know that if you were to really push yourself, you could do more. You could do more laps, you could run farther, you could run faster. It's going to be very painful. We're going to have a hard time breathing. We're going to be sweaty. We're going to be sore and everything else. But we know that we could do that. We try to avoid that, though, because we want it to be something that we still enjoy, that doesn't become a chore, and it's something that we can keep doing afterwards. And so that these little improvements that we have been doing are able to sort of sustain us, so that we can look back and say, okay, you know what, it's been 2 months for me to increase this by 5% of whatever it is that you're doing, weights or running or whatever, but it's still an improvement. And that's the main thing, being able to look back and see how you've progressed. But so we know that we could push ourselves and get to that point, but it's surprising, to look at it and say, well, I didn't really push myself. I just kept going. My legs weren't sore afterwards. The next day I felt exactly the same. So doing it for 10 minutes versus 15 minutes is pretty much the same for me, aside from, again, my feet. And it's not really like a leg-foot thing so much as there's a big difference in impact between just walking and jogging, because I still have 230 pounds of impact, coming down on my foot every single time I hit it. So though the treadmill does help with that, the shoes are really shitty. So, but I think once I get to a point where I'm, really, really close, where I can do maybe 25 minutes or 30 minutes, then I'll say, okay, probably time for me to get a proper pair of shoes so I can increase, because then the endurance is not going to be a problem. The endurance is there. And I feel like the endurance is there somewhat right now, but the endurance is there right now. For my lung capacity is there. Cardiovascularly speaking, I feel like I'm ready, that I can keep going. So it's just a matter of the rest of my muscles that just simply aren't used to it. The benefit, of course, this is an odd thing to sort of end our week on, but one of the benefits of being, as I was, super obese, being 325 pounds, is that your leg muscles tend to stay fairly strong because you're constantly carrying around a tremendous amount of bulk. So I think that's probably part of the reason why it's a little bit easier for me to keep going that way, because I haven't ever really had leg problems. I know that there are some of you out there that do, that either there's joint pain, obviously, which we've all had, including me. And aside from just being generally sore from carrying around too much and not doing very much activity, things like that. But I haven't had any severe issues with my legs like some people do. So I'm very grateful for that. And I think that has probably helped to get me to a point where, where I can keep jogging a little bit further than I probably normally could. So a bit of a benefit. I suppose one good thing, if I had to pick one thing about being fat that was good, is that, our legs are a little bit stronger because it has to be. We're supporting so much. So I don't think that within a year it's gotten to a point where my legs are now, oh, well, I'm weaker because I'm not used to carrying around this much. But it's enough that because I've still been exercising, that it's a little easier for me to continue on. So it's just that impact that I need to work on. Which reminds me, and I don't know if I've ever talked about this, I used to get really, really, really painful heels. Not like shoes, but just my heels would always hurt. And it's called plantar fasciitis, I think. And basically your heel bone, because there's so much weight, digs into the muscle. And then, of course, it tears, it bruises, it becomes inflamed, and it's on your heel. So as you're walking, after a few minutes of walking, you're okay. But then once you stop, it gets really painful. And then once, you try to stand up there, sometimes you can't even walk. It's horrible. So I don't know if I ever mentioned that. Good time to do that at the very, very end of things. That would have been a good topic. We could talk about that at some other point. Anyway, because we will continue these on weekly, as far as I know. Might change when I do my weigh-in. Not sure. But for now, anyway, that's it. I just sort of wanted to share that and let you know I didn't go overboard. I came home, I had a bowl of cereal for supper, and then went out because I figured, just in case I have something there, I'm going to have something so that it fills me up a little bit, but it's not a full meal. Was fine, then came home and I had, sunflower seeds and an apple, which I didn't mark down in MyFitnessPal. I didn't do that. Oh well, too late now. Still was under my goal. Things are fine. I'm happy there. And I'm going to sort of keep on going as it is, but and especially with the treadmill, I was very pleased about that. that I was able to increase, that amount, and not have it be just sort of devastating and me thinking, well, it's my last week, I really want to go over the top with it. It was the timing of it. I'm not doing that because it's the last week. It was simply just, I knew I could do a little bit more, so I thought, screw it. Logic dictates that if I can do 10 minutes, I should be able to do 15. Technically, I should be able to do 20 or 30 or whatever. But again, always better to start out very small and gradually work our way up instead of just saying, well, I'm going to run for that full hour and then quit halfway through and then beat myself up and feel bad. But I am going to keep on going with that. I'm going to keep on going with my FitnessPal as well. And we have one last weigh-in for tomorrow. I can finally get the end total of the sum of the entire weight loss throughout the entire year. And I keep saying entire. So, yeah, that's for tomorrow. For right now, I'm going to leave this video here. So thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, please poke the like button for me. And in the meantime, keep yourself warm and fuzzy, and I will see you in the next video.